All right, what's up, YouTube? All right, so back to the demise of Tiny, right? Tiny, my childhood friend, one of my best friends, had his back. You know what I'm saying? Let him make money, made sure nobody really did shit to him, made sure he could fucking walk the streets, right? So if you remember in the beginning of this story, when I got raided by the IRS and the DEA, and I got took to jail, Tiny was the one that picked me up from jail. Tiny was the one that got into the fight with me at the tow yard. Tiny's the one that quit fighting at the tow yard, which put them all on me. No big deal, right? So you got to remember, Tiny's all throughout this story. And he was the first person that I talked to when I got released from the St. Louis Park police station, and I told them they want me to snitch. I'm not gonna snitch. He was the first person who knew it. Now, if I was gonna dime anybody out, I would have dimed them out on the 400 pounds of weed. Okay? 400 pounds of weed came shipped from Mexico in a crate with half shingles, half weed, half shingles for your roof. Okay? This is how shit was done back in the 90s. I highly doubt they're still doing that, but they still could be. I don't know. Right? So I actually walked in dude's crib and seen this unknowingly and got the fuck up out of there. Because like I said, we fell out over a price and I said I quit. I'm not selling none of that. Okay? So he had a rough time trying to get all that off by himself, which he failed. And it wasn't all his anyway. Half of it belonged to somebody else. Okay? Now, the person he used to sign from it for that package, you know how much money he gave him? Guess. $2,000. He gave B, we'll call him B. He gave B $2,000. And when I talked to B one day, I said, bro, what is it like signing for that much shit, dog? He's like, it's like committing suicide, man. It felt like committing suicide, bro. And I'm like, damn. So he was, you could say, a disgruntled employee. Okay? Now, there was another individual that got left hanging out to dry. We'll call him A to keep it simple. So A was involved in putting the smack down, supposed to have been, put the smack down on Crackhead Bougie when they kicked the door in at Crackhead Pete's house. Okay? Now, in that situation, he left him hanging to dry. Dude ended up with a warrant. Even though I was able to make most of that go away, they already had pending cases, probation, things of that nature that got affected. Even though they didn't get convicted, the suspicion and like the investigation of it had them looking at shit. The initial charges had them fucked up. Whether they went away or not, they were still looking at probation violations and that type of shit, right? So he didn't help dude get out of town. He didn't help dude go on the run. He didn't give him no money. He didn't give him no help. I did. So A and B were two disgruntled employees. Okay? A and B were both two disgruntled employees, right? So Tiny, as he starts to fall off, trying to get that crate off, After it's kind of all said and done, he don't really got nothing to show for it. He's falling off. Nobody's really fucking with him. This fool goes and tells somebody, hey, man, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if Nick snitched or... Like, he tried to put it like... He tried to say it without saying it. Right? Basically. And really what he was doing, you guys, this was back in the 90s. He was probably the first person to ever do some troll shit to me. That was troll shit. That's exactly the kind of shit somebody would do today. Know damn well that that's not possible, didn't happen, and still try and say some shit like that, right? After I did all that for you, after I got my name involved in that investigation, after I got them witnesses to shut the fuck up, which wasn't hard, you motherfucker. Okay. So one day, I think A was already at the house, and I think B came over with him, or else they were already both there, and then he showed up by himself. This fool, I invite him to the crib. I hear this rumor that he tries to start, this troll shit he tries to pull. I invite him to the crib. He shows up. Not hard. He shows up, right? He shows up, and he's wearing like these fucking like this dude done fell off. He's wearing like these fucking 1970s swimming shorts that like come above your knees like the 1970 basketball shorts. That's what they look like, right? And this fool's wearing like a white t-shirt or like a tank top or something, just goofy. I'm like, I should have beat him for just, I probably would have fucked him up even for coming around. Like, what the fuck are you dressed like that? Like, what the, he was like fell off, started doing, like, he just fell all the way off, right? So he shows up literally looking like a fucking clown ass faggot or something. I'm just like, oh, it's just, what the, I'll never get over that, man. Like, what the fuck are you doing wearing those clothes, man? Like, do you not have clothes? Like, are you home? Like, what the? He was just doing bad, right? So we go in the garage, right? I'm like, yeah, let's go in the garage and smoke the joint. I don't know how he didn't know better than that, but he couldn't get out of the situation at this point. So we get to the garage, right? And I light the joint. Smoking the CBD with y'all. I light the joint, right? And I light it. I hit it. I pass it to him. Here, bro. Soon as he grabs the joint and starts to hit it, I put my arm around him and slide him into a chokehold and tell him, looks like I ain't even have to come looking for you, huh? I don't even know if I told him why we were doing this. He already knew. I don't even know if I even mentioned it to him. Like, oh, you said this? Like, I don't even think I even did that. We just started beating his ass. Soon as I had him in that chokehold, A and B started drilling him in the face. And one's like 150, the other one's like about $140. They can both fight though. They're just drilling him. Boom, boom, boom. I got him in chokehold. We start duct taping him up. Let me tell you about duct taping people up. It's not like the movies. They sweat. It comes off. You can't just tape somebody's mouth shut. They start sweating when they're scared. It doesn't work how y'all think. So we taped his hands like super tight to the point where his wrists, they were like, his hands were turning purple. I remember that. We taped him around like his mouth so tight that it wasn't like, it was like a gag, like, you know what I'm saying? So, like around the back of his neck, over his mouth, like in circles, right? Because the tape came off when we tried to like do it like the easy way, right? So I'm like, oh, fuck, like. So he's sweating, scared, the tape's not sticking. Now you're getting taped even tighter, right? Now you're getting taped even tighter. So he's getting taped even tighter. And we're just fucking him up. Boom, body shots, face shots. You know, but we got time, so we're not like trying to KO him the first punch. You know what I'm saying? But he's getting the business. Boom, 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 boom. We're just working him slowly because we got time. You know? So we start stomping him out, pull out the blowtorch, other miscellaneous tools, start going to work on him with those, right? Dude's like burning him with like red hot objects and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like fucking him up, branding his address where he sent the package to in his back. Like he felt a certain way about only getting $2,000. He branded that address that was on that package in this dude's back. Okay? I think it was just like the 4 letters of the address. 9,500 or something like that, right? But it might even been like the name of the street too. Like he wasn't playing with him. So, just don't remember. You know what I'm saying? I could lie to you, but. So, he's branding him with the torch in a red hot piece of metal. And at a point, I go and get something to eat. This is my house. He's in the garage. So I go get something to eat, right? Come back about a half hour later. They're fucking him up still, of course. I come back. We start fucking him up worse. And I think I left twice. The second time I came back, he was over in the corner. And mind you, there's like blood on the wall, blood on the floor. The DNA's all over my fucking crib, man. Like, we're not killing this motherfucker. That was not the plan, right? Not the plan to kill this dude, man. So, he can't breathe because his nose and his eyes are all swollen shut, and there's so much blood in his nose, and his mouth is gagged. So he's like fighting for air out of his nose, and they're laughing, not realizing or not caring that he's about to die. Like I could see it. So I'm like, oh. So I go over and I cut the tape off him. You know? I cut the tape off him, and he wasn't yelling or screaming after that. He knew, like, oh, I'll just, as soon as I cut the tape off him, I walked up to him and I ashed a cigarette out inside of his eardrum. It sounded like taking a dab. If y'all ever took a dab before, it really sounded like that, man. Ashed a cigarette out in his ear. Ashed a cigarette out in his other ear. And he's trying not to yell, because he don't want to get gagged again, right? So he's just trying to take this shit. And I remember the red hot hanger. The red hot hanger sunk into his kneecap. Like when something's red hot, you guys, you could just drop it on somebody's flesh, and it's going to start to sink into their flesh. It's going to burn its way. Like it's like butter. It's like sticking a hot knife in butter. There's no resistance. It literally just sinks right in there, man. And so he's getting fucked up. But he's not screaming anymore or trying to. He was in the beginning when he was gagged. But he didn't want to get gagged again, so he was just taking it at that point. You know? So, at this point, we weren't really, like, kicking him and punching him anymore. They gave him a few, like, he was taking some, but I don't know what they did to him when I was gone. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't even know everything that happened to that fool. But, nothing crazy, nothing too crazy, you know what I'm saying? But, by the time we were done, that fool was ashing cigarettes out in his own hand. Like, here, give me a cigarette. Give me, here. Like, punishing himself. Like, I'm sorry, man. I fucking know I deserved all this shit, man. Like, fuck, man. Thank you for saving my life, man. thanks, man. Like, I know I fucked up, man. I know I fucked up. Like, which in a way I did save his life because they were going to kill him on accident. But I was only doing that because I didn't want to catch you as a body, fool. I wasn't trying to really show no mercy. I wasn't trying to kill you though either because I wasn't going to get away with that shit. You know? So there's blood soaking into the fucking sheetrock in the wall, all over the floor. Like, nah, man, it's just too much evidence. You know? So this fool, man, really just accepted it. He didn't snitch about it. The police actually came to him one day. It's like, hey, we heard that crazy Nick fucked you up. You want to talk about it? He's like, oh, fuck no, it didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like I seen Tiny after this. We did business after this. I had to really think about it. Like, yeah, nah, I did business with Tiny after this, man. Not a whole lot, but Tiny started to go bad the first time he ever did meth. We were like 19, 20. There was this fake ass motherfucker. We'll call him JG, right? JG was like this fake ass gangster disciple motherfucker that was older than us, that claimed to be an OG, but had never been to county jail, right? So the dude never been to county jail. Kind of reminded me of like GUNNERZ collective. Skateboarder, meth head, coke head, drug addict, tweaker, you know, always trying to give drugs to bitches, younger kids, trying to get people hooked on shit. Just a shitty character, right? Just a bullshit motherfucker, right? So one day, we're in this bathroom, and this fake motherfucker JG pulls out some meth. And he's like, you want to try some? And I'm like, nope. Now, he had already done this to me when I was like 17. Now I'm like 20, 21 or something like that. Tiny's maybe like 19 or something. He had already pulled this move on me. So I'm just like, hell no, dog. Like, nope. Tiny looked at me and he's like, should I? And I didn't make the decision for him. For one of the first times, I didn't make the decision for him. Like, I looked at him like, bro, you kind of like you know better. You know, I don't know what I said, but I gave him that look, and he did it. Soon as he did that line of meth, he had never did hard drugs. Soon as he did that line of meth, his head came up, and he was like, oh, and started like fucking yelling and like raged out like he had been fighting it his whole life. I knew it was kind of over for him right when I seen that shit, man. I don't know what the fuck, man. Like, he should have never touched hard drugs, man. That was like the way he was like better than everybody else. That's how he got to the position that he was in, because he didn't touch hard drugs. Soon as he did, that dude just turned to shit. He couldn't maintain nothing. You know, dude just turned to shit, man. And it's like, crazy thing is though, is he never snitched. You know, to my knowledge, I don't know him to have ever snitched. Definitely not back then, but I think maybe later on in life I wouldn't trust his activities. I don't know, man. He always said I saved his life, but I still never really trusted him again, even though I'd seen him plenty of times after this. But then there was a day where like 7 or 8 years went by and I hadn't seen him, right? Basically just got the fuck away from all those people, right? Then one day somehow we linked up again, and I brought him to my crib in St. Paul. It was like maybe, I don't know what year it was, maybe 2005 or something, right? And we got to the crib.